It's the Open Bedroom Doors Show.
I'm Angela Skirtu, and I open bedroom doors. Welcome to the Open Bedroom Doors Show. Real talk for real relationships. I'm your host, Angela Skirtu, your friendly neighborhood sex therapist and licensed marriage therapist. And yes, talking about sex is literally my job. I started this show because, let's be real, most of us didn't get sex education. We're out here fumbling through love, intimacy, and awkward bedroom moments with zero guidance and a lot of shame. Time to fix that. Here's what you can expect every episode. Sex positions. We start off hot by judging something wild, weird, or just plain wrong in the media or culture. You'll laugh, you'll cringe, you might even learn something. Next, we move to guest interviews. I chat with fascinating folks, sexperts, storytellers, and everyday humans with juicy stories and powerful insights. And then, of course, we have to have a happy ending. Yep, we finish strong. I answer real questions from real people about sex, relationships, and all the stuff you're too afraid to ask your therapist or anyone else for that matter. But I'm here, so ask away. If you're ready to laugh, learn, and finally talk about the stuff no one ever taught us, hit play. Let's open that bedroom door, shall we? Welcome to Sex Positions. This is the Open Bedroom Door Show, and on this segment, what I like to do is judge things as a sex therapist that are happening in media and society that are related to sex. And I'm your resident sex therapist. Hey! So today I want to talk to you about one of the things that's getting in the way of all of my couples. The most common story that brings people in to see me as a therapist is it starts actually at first baby. So right before you start trying to get pregnant, you and your partner are struggling with your sex life. And you think, well, you know what, let's try and have a kid. And then that energy of trying to have a baby builds up the excitement and energy. So you're like, okay, well, sex was already kind of getting slow, but since we're having a baby, we're putting more energy, we're having a little more fun. So you start trying, and then one of you gets pregnant. Usually it's the woman. Because it can't be anyone. It's got to be the lady. Right? So she gets pregnant. And it's like, okay, your whole body changes. And that does a lot, actually. That it changes energy. It changes... you're literally creating a baby. And so during that time, what happens is you're not talking very well to each other about how to have varieties of intimacy. So as that body changes, as you get tired, I remember when I was pregnant, I literally kept a couch, and I had a couch in my office, but I kept blankets and pillows just like these in my couch. And I would literally just go to bed, in between sessions when I was too tired and I didn't have a client. That was my life when I was pregnant. And that's probably many of your lives too. And I exercised and stayed healthy, but it didn't matter. Your body is still creating a new being, right? So what happens is communication breaks down and you're not talking to each other about how can we still have different kinds of intimacy that are working with your energy levels. So that's one thing. And you're also not honoring your body through that, right? So either you have a partner who's respecting that and kind of backs away, or you have a partner that doesn't respect it and you're trying to make them feel happy or do everything for them. And then you're not having sex because you enjoy it. You're just doing it for them. When really what you need to have is creative different ways of being intimate and sexual with each other. So then that story, okay, you have the baby. And it's great, and you're like, oh, it's so exciting. But then sex really tanks because you don't have a plan for that either, for how to stay intimate. You've already stopped being intimate before the baby came. Then there's that 6-week period from the docs, and then it doesn't stop. Because guess what? Postpartum is actually up to almost a year of changes in the body, of reorienting and figuring out what's going on. So if you don't have the communication before, you definitely don't have it after, and baby changes everything and makes you stressed. So then you try to have a second baby, and that does happen for a time, that you have sex and the intimacy gets a little better. But after that second baby happens, your desire just tanks. And typically it's about 2 to 3 years after that people come see me, the sex therapist. And it actually could have been prevented if you had good communication and an ability to be a little more creative and open-minded with your intimacy from the start. I want that to change for you. So part of the reason I created this whole series is that I want you to see that throughout every stage of the game, you can be intimate. Intimacy can change. And it can be part of the entire process, but it does have to change. And you have to learn how to honor your body and work together as a team. If you are interested in learning more about that, please come see me. I'm Angela Skirchu, the therapist, and you can find me at openbedroomdoors.com. If you want a bed, guess what? We are filming our sex positions here at Mattress Dogs. This is a mattress furniture store, and I am thankful for Mattress Dogs for letting me do my sex positions event in bed. Use promo code SEXYTIME, and you can get your next bed here tax-free. We're always looking for sponsors. So if you would like to become a sponsor for the show or for the sex position segment, please go to openbedroomdoors.com and check out our sponsorship page. And we will, if you become one of our sponsors, we'll even let you pick the position.
Going to a cuddle party is kind of like this. It's not like being out in the regular world where you would practice saying no and you're not sure how other people will respond. Being at a cuddle party, people are already primed to say, thank you for taking care of yourself.
Oh.
And how does that change the way our brain processes no?
Okay, so you're training people to accept no. That's what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're training people to say yes to things they want, even though maybe sometimes people are like, do I really deserve that?
Oh.
Like we have our own limiting shit going on, right? So it goes both ways.
I got you. That's so interesting. Because all right, so I have like a scale from no to yes in my book where I talk about there's the spectrum of no, a spectrum of maybe, and a spectrum of yes. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I try to coach people in is that rather, you can say, I'm not interested in this. So that's like the no, mm-hmm. No, I don't want this, but I could be open to this. And what I'm trying to teach people is the different options and layers of intimacy that they can engage in. And so mm-hmm. It's so interesting because, I think you're bringing up an important person, and it's the people pleaser. The people pleaser is constantly saying yes at their own expense. That sort of tolerance thing you were talking about, they'll say yes because they don't want to hurt someone's feelings. So for that person in particular, I could see a deep need to be able to get comfortable with, it's okay to just say no. You do not have to do anything. Seriously, we want you to do this because you want to, not because you have to, or because you're trying to make me happy, or you're trying, to not piss somebody off, essentially, right? And I'm just thinking of every people, and of course there's a people pleaser in me too. Let's be fair, right? It's all the ways that we give people permission to be hey, you have choice, and real choice means no is a part of that choice. So that's so powerful.
It goes back to the parenting thing, right? Again, like I said, we didn't teach bodily autonomy. I did not encourage my kids to tell me no. Right? So we've encouraged our kids to flex and adjust themselves to our wants and needs. And then we expect them to grow up into adults that suddenly they can do that on their own, and they've never been shown that it's okay to say no. So we can do that in cuddle party. We can do that in a cuddleist session. I had a client that came in, and it was so funny because the reason for coming in was to get used to being around another person. Him and his partner had opened their relationship. He was very hesitant to start dating. Comes in. One of the first things we realized is that he is a people pleaser. Mm-hmm. And I said, integrity was so important to him. And I said, I can't trust your yes if I've never heard your no.
Yeah.
Eyes got big. Right. And then we decided we had a 3-hour first session, and we did a bunch of yes, no games. And he went home and he started to change how he interacted even with his kids. Right. Kid says, Dad, will you do this thing with me? And he's like, actually, I'm kind of working on something else right now. How about we give me 20 minutes? And then I would love to be a yes. So it's what you're saying is I'm a no, but I could be a yes with this adjustment.
Yeah.
Right.
Now I'm a mom, so I've got my 10-year-old, and I was just of course, when you bring up the kids, I'm like, whoa, my child is struggling with boundaries and saying no. And then it just got me, of course, you got me thinking wow, I have to train her that it's okay to say no. Like, and I have to like create opportunities with me, the safe mom, that like where she says no and I honor it, because if I don't do that, then how is she, like, I've been talking to her about like her friends, you know, of like, hey, it's okay for you to say, let's share space. Like, we're going to play your game and then we're going to play my game. Right. But like, she is just so much of a people pleaser. Oh man.
Are you modeling for her also saying no?
You know, I probably
Not
am
just
not
like, not just no to her, but no
just no
to...
in life, no in general. That like, no, I mean, I do say it here and there, don't get me wrong, but like, I probably have such high people pleasing tendencies that I struggle with it, right? Like, and it is powerful to say no and to have someone honor it. I think we don't hear no a lot in our world. So like, I do like train couples, for example, on how to like say no and then accept it. But like, I literally have to dig into their psyche. So I'm still a therapist, right? And so I'll be like, okay, when you hear no, what are you saying to yourself in here? What are the messages that you're like, I'm not good enough, or like, we've got to change those inner messages in order for them to actually hear it and not take it personally. And so it's just so interesting hearing you say that and then thinking to myself, oh my gosh, how am I love this. I love this podcast. I love doing this work.
Like, this is the drop, you know, it spreads, right? Like, I got out of the marriage. Well, the marriage ended. I won't say I got out of it, but the marriage ended.
Yes.
And I ended up, I think about a year and a half later, I trained with Cuddleist, and then I trained with Cuddle Party. And so my kids have had a lot of time. Either my son was in the other room while I was having a cuddle party in the living room, and he was kind of learning through the overhearing, right? But they're also just watching their mom, like, put myself first. Selfishness is such a, you know, like, negative thing that, like, no, we need to be like full of ourselves enough that we're going to take care of ourselves, or we can't take care of other people, right? Yeah. We've got so much conditional training, like societal training around like being this martyr mom. And like, and then we just raised the next generation of them. My mom didn't like sex with my father. And we knew this in our family. I was one of 3 girls. It was a known joke of what she would do to avoid sex with him. That did not teach me to go into my first sexual relationship and take care of myself. Right? I had no role model there. So it all just, we've got to stop it somewhere.
Yeah.
Right? And the invitation is to stop it today. Right? By just practicing taking better care of ourselves with our yes and our no.
Yeah. No, that's so powerful, Michelle. And I think it's a lesson a lot of us need to learn, like that no is empowering. That it is a way to honor yourself, set boundaries for yourself. And what I found with clients is where they really do have the ability to create a safety around their intimate experience. Like, this is what I am okay with. This is what I'm not okay with. I do a lot of collaboration because I'm always with couples. So I'm always helping them to negotiate and work together. But I don't want people resentfully intimate. I don't want people like sacrificing themselves, sacrificial sex, you know, like it causes resentment. It causes desire to tank, because essentially it puts desire in your fight, flight, freeze, and fawn space. And really fawn, like the whole people pleaser. So just FYI, everybody, for your sympathetic nervous system, fawn is the people pleaser, where you literally do everything for everyone else against your own better, like what you need for yourself. Like you're so people pleasing, but usually people do it because they're in chronic abusive situations where that's the way to survive. And so you be the like uber nice person. Like I have it in myself. Like I get uber gregarious, like, oh, you know, and I almost like and when I go into that space where I'm like, I'm people pleasing and making excuses for the people around me or the person or the way somebody's treating me, then I'm like, oh, Angela, you're in fawn. Nope, not going to do that. And that's one of, like, earlier you were talking about like these boundaries you develop in yourself. So even in sex therapy, I've learned who my ideal client is. And I always say it's like the best friends who friend zone each other. Those are my favorites. And the reason is because they typically have kind ways of talking to each other, but they also aren't pressing me past, like, they're good. They generally are good people, like they're kind, they have good communication skills. That's why I like working with the best friends. Right. But like, I remember even in therapy, there'd be ways people would pick at me. And when I go into that gregarious, like, I'm almost like over fawning and like, I'm like, oh, Angela, you're in that space. This isn't a healthy place for you to do really the most effective therapy. So it's just so interesting. Like, I love hearing about your evolution across time. And like, it sounds like over time you've learned, like, no, like this is the space that I work best in. And like, you can see it even in your face. Like, there's a joy when you talk about what you're doing because you are fully honoring and empowering yourself in that work.
I'm case study number one, right? I remember my old therapist who said, you're healing these things from your past relationship and your childhood so quickly because you get to practice it every day in your work. But as I think about it now, it's like, yeah, first I got, I was so easily attuned. Like I could attune to people so easily because that was the survival mechanism in my childhood, right? I had to be able to read the room and anticipate people's needs, right? So that was the first step that made me good at what I do. How I would say it's changed is that I can do that, but now I can see what my own needs are too. And then integrate those together to figure out what is capable of my own needs and versus what the client needs. And being able to draw those lines and say, I have a limit here, right? Let's just say, I'm not going to let you cross my communication boundaries in between sessions just because that's something that you think you need. I can't show up for you wholeheartedly if I feel like you're taking advantage of me.
Yep.
Right. That's like, I think that's the evolution as the work continues for me is like, I don't get to finished. Mm-hmm. Right. I just keep learning more about myself because of showing up in the work. Yeah. And I imagine so as a sex therapist, same thing.
Well, and you pointed out so perfectly, it can't be intimacy at your expense. Like you cannot be in an intimate relationship where you're constantly, you have to take the expense. It's all for you, but nothing for me, or it's an unhealthy experience. So Michelle, we're towards the end of the episode. I feel like I could talk to you for hours. I would like final tidbits of advice you would like to share with the audience, and then also tell them how they can find you.
Yeah, final tidbits. This is a journey. The self-discovery of what do I need now is not the same thing as what I need tomorrow, what I need in a month, what I need in a year. So like, get real clear of what do you need right now? Ask yourself right now, what do I need? Do I need a glass of water? Do I need to use the restroom? Do I need a hug? Right? And see what you can do to give that to yourself or to get that need met. And that will start building this internal safety that I know I can take care of myself. I can be a touch slut because my body knows that I can take care of myself and I won't put myself in a situation that is self-abandoning, right? We start that by, what do I need right now? So that's my ask of everyone here is just stop for a second, drop in, right? What is the loudest thing you notice? Is it, man, I've been talking a lot. I should probably drink some of this tea that I have sitting here.
I was totally thinking that after we get
because I'm like, ooh, will it pick it up on the mic? I don't know, right? So I've put my needs on hold for a moment, but I'm going to catch them up when I get done with this, right? So like, I think getting aware of that would be my tidbit, right?
And how do they find you?
They find me I'm on social media at Meet Michelle Renee. MeetMichelleRenee.com is my like umbrella site where you can find all of my work and different blogs and all the things. And I'm over at Cuddleist.com/Michelle. If you are interested in a session or if this is work you'd love to do, like I have a coupon on MeetMichelleRenee.com that can give you a little discount to take the training. I happen to be a co-owner, so I should self-disclose. I'm a little biased, but that's a new thing. I started with them back in 2015. I just became a co-owner. So I got to adopt the baby that I've loved so hard for so many years.
Great. Well, thank you, Michelle, for being with us. And I am Angela Skirtu. You can find me at openbedroomdoors.com. And please submit a contact form to get on my email list so that you can find out all about my different products and services. I'm Angela Skirtu, and I open bedroom doors. Want to spice up your sex life? Then be sure to pick up a copy of my new book, From No to Yes Sex. Tired of routine sex? Feeling more like roommates than lovers? Wondering where the passion went or if it was ever really there? You're not alone. And guess what? You don't have to settle for a sex life that's just meh. Better sex doesn't start in the bedroom. It starts in your head. And from no to yes sex, I'll help you break free from shame, outdated beliefs, and unspoken frustrations that have been keeping you stuck. When you change the way you think about sex, you change the way you show up for sex. And that's where the magic happens. This book will help you understand why you're not getting the sex you crave. Rewire negative thoughts about sex, your body, and desire. And finally, learn how to communicate what you actually want in bed. You'll stop treating sex like an obligation and start wanting it again. No shame, no fluff, just straight talk and strategies. And a whole lot of yes moments. Yeah! This is the first book in my Open Bedroom Doors book series, where we strip away the awkwardness and build a foundation for lasting passion. Whether you're in a long-term relationship that's lost its fire or just tired of going through the emotions, this book is your invitation to transform your love life one thought at a time. Don't wait, order now. That's too spicy. Well, guys, on the Open Bedroom Doors show, we often have content that's a little too spicy for your typical social media platforms. So for those of you who are like, I love everything Angela Skirtu and I want to know all the spicy details, we actually have a space where we put the uncut shows, and it is at patreon.com/openbedroomdoors. So you can subscribe to that channel and get all the behind the scenes, all that spicy stuff that I wasn't able to put in the show. That's too spicy. So I hope you can join me at patreon.com/openbedroomdoors. Keep in mind, that is how you support me. So it is a subscription channel where you have to pay to subscribe, but you are becoming a supporter of me and putting out this awesome content as a result. So please join me for those spicy, spicy things. I'm Angela Skirtu, and on every show, I answer one of your sex questions. Joining me as always are my BDSM bears, Barry Bonds and Consent Cub. If you'd like to have your questions answered on the show, please submit a question in the comments below, or you can submit a contact form at my website, openbedroomdoors.com. So I got a question today from a guy actually who asks, why can't I orgasm during sex? And the interesting thing about that is everybody actually has different physical function as they age, right? So things that could be getting in the way of your orgasm could be your physical health and wellness. So for example, if you are exercising regularly or if you are eating healthy, that can impact blood flow, which impacts your erections and orgasms. So your penis's ability to maintain good blood flow is also connected to its ability to orgasm, right? Because part of that pressure that you're building in your penis is like pressure towards orgasm, right? And so when I talk to guys about their orgasm, basically they describe kind of a feeling of pressure and release, pressure and release, pressure and release. And some of that is your pelvic floor muscles building up pressure, and some of it is, blood pressure that's building up in the penis as well. And so if you're not actually taking good physical care of yourself or exercising, then that can be one of the reasons. A second reason is just that it takes a little more effort the older you get. And so one attitude some of my guys have picked up that has really helped is the idea of like, if I get an orgasm this time, cool. If I don't, how do I still have fun with the sexual situation? And what I've found is guys who focus more on that attitude, where they're really casual with themselves, tend to have a much better chance of orgasming when they start having this issue. But if you put a lot of pressure on your orgasm, it's going to make it way, way worse, because essentially you're, you're putting your penis under pressure, and he's like, nope, it's not going to happen. And then he goes, boop. So my challenge to you, if you are struggling with orgasms, are lighten up with yourself, be a little kinder. If you do need to do some health things, some health changes, then exercise a little more, potentially see a pelvic floor physical therapist, because they do actually treat ED and orgasmic problems with physical exercises. But beyond that, if you lighten up and treat yourself a little kinder, then sometimes you'll orgasm, sometimes you won't, but you will get better at orgasming if you're a little more relaxed with your body. Well, that's a wrap on this episode of the Open Bedroom Doors Show. Real talk for real relationships. If you laughed, learned, or blushed a little, you're welcome. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with a friend who needs a little more real talk in their life. Got a burning question about sex, love, or relationships? Check out openbedroomdoors.com and submit a contact form. Your question might just be featured in a future Happy Ending segment. Until next time, keep it honest, keep it sexy, and most of all, keep those bedroom doors open. Good night, and have a